Hi, welcome to the Brief Book Reviews channel, otherwise known as An Old Guy Reviews the Book that he's read this week. So what's the old guy read this week? Well, the book I've read this week is called #Panic by author Luke Jennings. Released as a hardback here in the UK on the 27th of April 2023. I have to confess I'm not familiar with Luke Jennings' work, but I am aware that Luke Jennings wrote a book called Codename Villanelle, which was used as the basis for the very, very popular TV series Killing Eve. So given that the author has that good pedigree, I thought it was worth a go. I was slightly perturbed by the top-level description of the book in the inside cover, which says, #Panic is a thriller, a love letter to fandom, and an empowering tale of young adults embracing their identities and fighting back in a world that has always tried to marginalise them. I thought, as an old guy, is this going to resonate with me? But I'm glad I did read it because it's a very enjoyable read. So what's it all about, I hear you say? Well, the story centres around a TV series called City of Night. The premise is, it's like a sci-fi type series. The premise is that 12 aliens from a distant galaxy rocked up to the Earth in 1983 with a view to fitting in with the population and with an eventual view of world domination. One of those aliens, called Lyric, is having second thoughts about it and strikes up a friendship with another lady called Pandora, who works as a low-level employee at a large corporation. So thus the story of City of Night is the relationship between Pandora and Lyric and their subsequent adventures. The fandom part concentrates on the four young people who are City of Night superfans. They're called Jaleesa, Kai, Ilya and Danny. Jaleesa lives in Saskatchewan. She's Canadian. She's had to quit med school to look after her opioid addicted father. Kai works on a remote station in the Australian outback. Kai's a trans guy. Ilya is a cadet in a school in Russia, Steel Town in Russia, where not only are the instructors bullies, but the cadets are as well. And Danny is a trans girl who lives in the east coast of England, in Lincolnshire, works in a fish and chip shop. So they all lead somewhat humdrum lives, and their participation in their own fan group is helps them take themselves out of their humdrum lives. The actual group is called #Panic. Now that's not the usual definition of panic, i.e. when the town's back four have to defend a set piece, but it's actually an amalgamation of the two main characters of City of Night's names, i.e. Pandora and Lyric, hence Panic. The four of them are very, very keen on the series and constantly message each other until one day there's a slight change in the scene where they get a message from a lady called Chloe, who says that she is Alice Temple being the star of the show, Alice Temple's personal makeup artist, and would like to join their group. They're a bit wary at first and ask for photographic proof that Chloe is who she says she is, and thus Chloe sends a picture of Alice on set, and they let her into the group. There's going to be a convention coming up called Con of the Night in California, and the four members of the #Panic group really, really want to go but can't afford it. Ilya manages to find the money for them to attend the convention, and obviously, now that they know Chloe arranges some VIP tickets, so all is well. So the four youngsters travel to America to go and meet their idol, Alice Temple, and join with other fans in the convention and listening to what's going to be happening in City of Nights and the usual things you'd expect at a fan convention. All is going well until all of a sudden there's a murder, and Alice, the star of the show, is the main suspect. The four youngsters immediately decide they need to protect Alice, and all of a sudden they're taking Alice away from the scene of the murder and scooting as fast as they can away from the convention. So very soon they've gone from fantasy to reality, and the four youngsters are taking Alice out of harm's way. They're being pursued by initially the local state police, and then once they cross the state border, the FBI. There's also some other players input. There's a Russian mafia. It turns out that the money to fund their trip to America has been stolen inadvertently from a Russian crime boss. There's also a right-wing group called the Legion, who are not happy with the city at night because they're worried about the implication that Pandora and Lyric will finally get it together, and that's not the sort of message they believe should be being broadcast. So not only are they having to avoid the normal law enforcement, they've got two other groups of bad uns chasing them, and that in effect is the tale of the book. But it's much more than that. It's a story of how the four youngsters go from being just friends in a chat group to how they develop their characters while they're being pursued across the southern United States by various organizations. We find that Jaleesa takes the lead. We find that Kai is basically, he can either ride anything or drive anything that's motorized, and nothing seems to faze it. We find that Ilya, away from the bullying of his cadet school, is very sharp and can work out stuff very quickly about what to do next and how to do it. And we find that Danny, normally the quiet, shy, secretive type, is becoming more and more durable and much somebody you can depend on. So the story is the standard, chase across America, front to good guys hiding from bad guys, but also the way that the four characters develop and become better people themselves. So it's a really good read. I suppose that it would be ideally suited for younger people, and as someone who's of more mature years, I found it an enjoyable thriller. But I guess the target demographic is a younger audience. But nevertheless, it's a good read. I'd certainly give it 7 out of 10, and I really enjoyed it. So I think that's it for this week's brief book review. Again, it's good sometimes to read things that you wouldn't normally pick up, and I'm glad I picked this one up. So that's it for this week's brief book review at 10:10. Do we do it again? Thanks for watching. Bye.